Hey everybody, I'm live. It's John Hope Bryant from Atlanta. I'm going to talk about a couple serious topics tonight and a couple crisp pieces after this one. But this is a salute. So tell all your friends to sign in right now. We're talking about Ambassador Andrew Young. He doesn't know I'm doing this. He's my mentor, my role model, my hero, my play father. He's an amazing human being, and it's his birthday weekend. Yay, his birthday was yesterday, and I want you to know about him, and we should praise and salute heroes and sheroes while they're alive. Give them their flowers when they're here. So hopefully all his friends will tell him that I just blew him up. But happy birthday to you, Ambassador Andrew Young, my hero. I just saw him a little earlier. Okay, here he is. Check this out. The senior aide to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. His chief lieutenant, his strategist in the movement. He's the one guy Dr. King never wanted to get arrested because he was a guy who negotiated with the power interests. He was a guy who negotiated with the very liberal part of the Civil Rights Movement and the very conservative part of the Civil Rights Movement. Within his staff, he was a peacemaker, the ambassador. He has been, let's see if I can get this in some order. The first congressman ever elected from the South since the Reconstruction, from Georgia, since Reconstruction, served 2 terms in Congress, mayor of Atlanta, and really helped to turn Atlanta into an international city after Maynard Jackson really made it a city of economic prosperity. He's the one who made it an international city, co-chair of the Atlanta Olympic Games. Yes, thank you, Beth Marie, for wishing Ambassador Young a happy birthday. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Co-chair of the Atlanta Olympic Games, but he's the guy who went on a plane all around the world and met with leaders and got them to vote for Atlanta. Atlanta literally is the only international city in the South. It has the most, the Atlanta airport is the busiest airport in the world. You can get to every American city within 2.5 hours. So 88% of all American cities within 2.5 hours of the Atlanta airport. I'm always there. But that's the legacy of Ambassador Andrew Young. This airport, this city that's too busy to hate. Kudos to you, Mayor Reed, who runs it now. But this is the only international city in the South. He made it that way. $70 billion of investment, that's with a B, into Atlanta while he was mayor. You have about, I don't know, 15 German companies in a state like Mississippi. You've got 15,000 German companies that have come in and domiciled in this region. That's Andrew Young's legacy. He was in Congress. He was a UN ambassador, first ever African-American UN ambassador in the history of this country under President Carter, Presidential Medal of Freedom awardee. Are you tired yet? Check this out. 125 honorary doctorate degrees. I have one. Okay? 125 honorary doctorate degrees. Yes, thanks to Bridget. Thank you, Bridget. He served under Jimmy Carter. Thanks for making sure I got my facts straight there. What else can I tell you about him? He got the French Medal of Legion Awards from France. He's got so many awards, they just go in closets somewhere. Those are sort of the big things. He's a pastor. He married me and my wife, Natasha. He is the global spokesman for Operation Hope. He does about a couple 100,000 miles, air miles, every year to this day, including on a plane tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, going to just do good for people. He's trying to do duckweed now, trying to like bring a new economy for farmers in the South at like 84 years young. And other than his knees, and he's always not getting knee surgery, he's in perfect health. I mean, the guy's incredible health. And he is my inspiration. He is my mentor. I have 3 mentors: Ambassador Andrew Young, Reverend Dr. Cecil Chip Murray, well, really 4, Quincy Jones, and then Ambassador Suguru Yozawa out of Japan. My sort of a shero who died, was promoted, was Dr. Dorothy Height, who had a great impact on my life. She once told me, John, I like you because you're a dreamer with a shovel in your hand. So I want to honor Ambassador Young's legacy right now when he's alive. I tried to do this video when I was with him. He refused to do it. This is a guy who is willing to talk about anything, but I think that he knew I was going to do this and didn't want me to embarrass him. A couple of things he's taught me, beyond the fact that we're too busy to hate, beyond the fact that racism is not something you hate, it's a sickness, and you don't hate people who are sick, you help them get well. If they don't get well, then they make you sick too. Just deep. when he once said to me that to live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. Talk about civil rights to civil rights. To live in a system of free enterprise and not to understand the rules of free enterprise must be the very definition of slavery. He told me that he and Dr. King integrated the lunch counter but never integrated the dollar. Did you know, by the way, that one of the reasons Dr. King never wanted him arrested was that Dr. King would never march after 2 or 3 o'clock because it was a strategy. Every great leader was also a great marketer. He wouldn't march after 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock because they had to get the tape on the film. Back then it was film. It wasn't digital, ladies and gentlemen. On the cassette from the camera on a plane, the plane from the reporter to New York for the 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock news. So they wouldn't march after 2 or 3 o'clock because the media had to have time to go process the film. So after they marched for several weeks, they'd shut down the economy in the city. And I'm thinking about, in particularly, the Montgomery bus boycott. After 9 months of marching in Montgomery, Alabama, they actually shut down the economy and the bus company went bankrupt. Now, Dr. King was not trying to bankrupt the bus company, but when he realized that when blacks were not allowed to sit at the front of the bus and their money was green like everybody else, they were being told to sit at the back of the bus, he's like, this is crazy. Why are we financing our own oppression? Great quote, by the way. Why are we financing our own oppression? Thank you, Esther and Beverly, for giving kudos to Ambassador Andrew Young. Why are we financing our own oppression? He just said, let's just stand down. Let's be our own taxis. That robbed the economy from that racist environment, and that bus company went away, and the one that respected the black dollar came back in. So after they figured out, okay, this works, so they'd go from city to city, and they would shut down the economy. And after a few weeks, Dr. King would ask Ambassador Young to put a business suit on, take the overalls off, put a business suit on, go behind closed doors, meet with 100 business leaders behind closed doors and cut a deal. So what got integrated in the South? First, was it government offices? No. Was it public universities, government? No. Was it anything having to do with government? No. It was free enterprise. It was businesses, soda counters, department stores, bus companies. This was Dr. King set it up, and Andrew Young paying it off. Andrew Young would go behind closed doors, cut that deal, and the 100 business leaders would take those whites only signs down and then tell the mayor to cut it out. Tell the governor to cut it out. It's hurting their pocket. It's hurting their economy. And so he never gets credit for this. He will never say it for himself. Thank you, Jarvis, for saying grateful to Ambassador Young for his commitment to justice for all. He would never take credit for this for himself. He wouldn't even talk about this himself. So I'm doing it for him. I love this man. I got a man crush on Ambassador Andrew Young. That's what I said. I got a man crush. His brother's brain is unbelievable. There's so many great quotes that he has. You think I'm quotable? No, this guy is the truth. And whenever I'm around him, I just shut up, sit down, and listen. I put some photos in the public profile section, a little section, a dedicated section of pictures for Ambassador Young, some pictures that are not published. They're private, some private pictures of him and I. There's some public pictures, some professional pictures, but then there's a few photos that no one's ever seen before in some private moments. I'll add a few more in time. He is a real living legend. He is the real deal. He has counseled every president since who in the whole heck knows what. I remember I'm going to give you one story that nobody knows. There's so many of him. One story, he was with Dr. King. They just come back and winning the Nobel Peace Prize. He had won the Nobel Peace Prize, Dr. King. By the way, when you look at historic photos of Andrew Young and Dr. King, he's never looking at the camera. All Dr. King's other boys looking straight at the camera, almost like they're competing for attention. Ambassador Young was always looking here, looking here, looking here, looking behind. He's protecting Dr. King. It's never about him. He never wanted to be Dr. King. He just wanted to be Andrew Young. So he was with Dr. King, and they were coming back from Norway, and they stopped off to meet with the President Johnson in the White House. It's 9 minutes and 12 seconds. So I try to do this quickly. I want to do this within 10 minutes. And tell your friends to go watch this post, by the way, and spread it around. So they get back to Washington, and they could go to, I think Rockefeller loaned them a plane or something to get to Washington. They don't meet with the president. The president waits to meet with them until after hours. Translation, I don't want the media to see this. This was in the movie about Dr. King, but they got this part a little wrong. This is what really happened. So they meet with the president, and Dr. King asks for a second civil rights bill. The president says, Dr. King, I'm sorry, I can't do anymore. I've done all I can. I passed one. That's all I can do. You see, Bridget, yep, I'm getting into the details. So President Johnson says, look, Dr. King, I'm sorry. You think the president has more power than he really has. I'm really sorry, I can't help you. So Dr. King and Ambassador Young walk out. And as they're walking out, Dr. King's smiling. And so Andrew Young says, well, what are you smiling about? We just got hands our head. And Dr. King turns to him and says, Andy, the president said that he thinks that we think that he's got more power than he really has. Ambassador Young said, yeah, and? He said, well, Andy, let's go give the president some more power. Whoo! So Ambassador Young turns back to Dr. King and said, he said, I've never heard a more arrogant thing from a Morehouse man than that. You guys really think you're smart, but you go give the president some more power? Well, several weeks later, the Pettus Bridge, I believe that's what it was, happened, orchestrated, and created an environment where Johnson actually signed the bill. Signed the second bill. They actually gave the president more power. Did it in a positive way, did it in an aspirational way, produced real results, didn't just scream, holler, say how horrible things were, hate white people, none of that crap. They just found the best in people and even found a way to make Dr. King look good. Okay, one last story. I'm at 11 minutes, but I think if it's okay with you, let me see, Shanetta Walters, thank you for your love for him. If it's okay with you, I'm going to give you one last story. This is a personal story. So I'm meeting with President Bush, and Katrina happens, and I'm really unhappy with the whole thing. President Bush, I thought, was a very nice man, by the way. I get beat up for this, but I think he's a very nice man, right? I think very few people go to the White House and say, let me see how I can screw up America. I've worked with Republicans and Democrats. Some should have been president, maybe, but they were there, and I respect it. Anyway, so President Bush was a good man. But I didn't agree with him on certain policy things. And so when Katrina happened, I just said, okay, I'm out of here. They said, come meet with the president. Anyway, the president said, I'm going to give you what you want. What do you want? I want financial literacy as federal policy. And so he had this whole cabinet there, and okay, we'll work with Paulson, Secretary of Treasury Paulson. Okay, so I worked with him. I thought the president said it's done. So I worked with him for several months, meetings after meetings after meetings, nothing's happening. So one day I meet with Ambassador Young. He says, how's it going? I said, crap. I think it's just a photo op. And he said, it was one of the few times he ever, I don't know if I can say this on tape, he cursed me out. He said, blank, 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 John, stop it. Be skeptical, but don't be cynical. Because once you're cynical, you've lost hope. He says, you got to believe that President Bush is a good man with bad counsel. You go in there and give that man good counsel and wait for the political opportunity to make him look good. This is not about you. Whew! So that's what I did. Got my attitude right, went back in, and he signed the executive order making financial literacy federal policy January 2008. And everybody is benefiting from that today, and I get no credit for it. President Bush does deserve credit for that. No different than Obama deserves credit for all the stuff he's done, and Johnson deserves all the credit for the stuff that he's done, et cetera, right? Hopefully my friend Hillary Clinton will be the first female president. Anyway, did I say that? I'm nonpartisan. But that would not have happened if not for Ambassador Andrew Young encouraging me to get out of my own way. So this is a salute to him. It went over, but it's worth it. I hope you enjoyed it. Spread the word. Love you much. Let's go change the world together. And if you have a hero or shero in your life that you admire, tell them so today. Peace out. Happy birthday, Ambassador Andrew Young. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, AY. Happy birthday.